What the Young Inspirator Network to you is going to do is not just 3 words because it's fashionable to put new buzzwords, inspire, network, deliver. No. You will inspire other people or get inspired by people that you will meet. You will be able to network not only within India, but globally. Because YIN will go global. I've already have demands from YPO kids across the world who wants to start YIN in their countries. You will have access to people of your age group and more globally. And how do you deliver? We will give you skill sets which will ensure that when you take up a job, you don't have to be retrained again and again. We employ a lot of people, and every time I take these MBA students or whatever, it's very difficult because we have to start training them from scratch. Because the skill sets which are there in India currently are not good enough. So how do we give you those skill developments? We launched something called as Water for All. Get rid of this drought problem once and for all from the state. And that has reached an epic proportion. We have a complete solution. We have a skill set. We had a thing called as a lab. Where did this lab come from? When the Planning Commission had invited me to talk to them, I said, look, you are expecting us to come up with a solution which is going to solve the country's problem? How are we going to do that? So one of the things that I asked the Planning Commission was, show me the countries that we think we should be like. Let's say when we start a company, or let's say when you kids are going to go and apply for universities overseas. Why? Because you want to get access to the best that is out there somewhere in the world or within the country. So you start looking at what is the best that is out there wherever it is. So I said, okay, if for my business I do the same thing, I go for collaborations, I go for all sorts of joint ventures. For my country, let me look at economic models. Which country can teach us to be the best? So someone said Singapore, so we started the Singaporean model, but we said no, Singapore, China, it's a different government. That sort of governance cannot be practiced in India. So we looked at many countries, and finally I saw this little model in the Planning Commission called Malaysian Prime Minister's Office called Pemandu. And I said, this is it. Because here's a country which is 80% Muslim, 20% minorities, they all live happily together, similar problems like India. And in 3 to 5 years, they had evolved a process which transformed their country. In 3 to 5 years, I said, this can't be true. So as I started digging deeper on it, I saw that they had cases on Harvard on this. The World Bank was a part of it. The World Economic Forum was a part of it. A.T. Kearney. You looked at employment booming. You looked at stock market being tripled. The GDP growing like crazy. And I said, this is unbelievable. Yet all the world's financial institutions, sovereign funds, looking at this very seriously. So I told the Planning Commission that I need an appointment with the Prime Minister of Malaysia. I want to understand how this model is. It sounds like a ridiculous question, right? Suddenly you have somebody coming in and saying, I need to meet the Prime Minister. But you know what? One thing I learned in life is, if you ask the most insane questions to somebody, they're so shocked that before they can think, they actually start working on it. I was reading something very interesting on one of the talks that somebody was giving. And he says, you know, when I was in college and in my business school and in my career, I got a lot of crap. C for criticism, R for rejection, A for assholes, and P for pressure. You always have crap in your life. Whether you're in college, or you're in business, or you're wherever. So I said, okay, what's the worst case that's going to happen? The Prime Minister will not meet me. So I pursued Mr. Myra, who was a member of the Planning Commission, for 2 months, and I said, Mr. Myra, please, you know, just get me this appointment. So he wrote to the guy in World Bank. The World Bank guy wrote to the Prime Minister's office. And suddenly we were invited. So me and my two colleagues, we went to Malaysia. So now the Prime Minister's office tells me after many months of being with them, working with them, that when you came, we were wondering, who is this guy? Why is he coming? Some media guy coming and interested to know how the country runs and whatever. But they lined up all these meetings. They lined up the ministers' meetings. They lined up the bureaucrats. We saw everything, and I was blown. And I said, this is something that India must have. So I requested the Prime Minister's office that, sir, would you like to come and teach us in India? Because by that point in time, almost many countries were interested in this model that they had. And they were looking at exploring how to export this model outside. They'd already started working in Tanzania. And they were not sure. They said, okay, I will see. So finally what happened was, within 1.5 years, when they saw what we were doing in India and what they were doing, they said, you know what? It's a great win-win situation. So they decided to come here and started helping us out. And we created this lab, this learning out of this as to how to transform something in 3 to 5 years. And why 3 to 5 years is very important is because all politicians get elected for 5 years. If they can't see results in 5 years, they may have long-term plans, but you know something, not everybody is interested in these long-term plans. We all are in a hurry. We want to have instant gratification. But you must have reasonable time. You can't say, I'll give you an iPad 10 years from now. Does it make sense? No. You want the iPad here and now, today, so you can make good use of it. So can we transform the country in 3 to 5 years? When I saw this, I did another insane thing. I said, you know what? Why don't we become partners? I said, what? I said, yeah, let's do a 50-50 joint venture. So I said, this is what we have to offer, this is what you have to offer, here's how we can work together. And they saw us working, they came to India, they saw us working, and they said, but to do this, we have to get the cabinet approval. No government has actually partnered with a private entity. So I said, look, why don't you ask? Today, that is a reality. So the moment today we have this partnership, we are in a very strong position, and we have now decided to consult other countries in the world effectively for 3 or 4 things. Number one, we can help a country, a president or a prime minister actually plan his country's plans. Number 2, we can give him access to funds, large funds, through World Bank, IFCs, and other financial institutions. Number 3, we can actually help implement. And number 4, we can help audit and monitor. So when all this was there, I happen to know our Prime Minister well, Narendra Modi ji. And he got the word of it where, he heard that this is something that was very successful from Maharashtra. The bureaucrats were talking, the political parties were talking, all political parties. Can you imagine? The Shiv Sena, the NCP, the BJP, Congress, all these guys agreeing on one thing, that our model is good. I mean, if we can pull that off, I think we can pull anything off. So they sent in word that the Prime Minister that you must meet and see what this model is. So I went just 19 days ago to meet the Prime Minister when John Kerry was there on that day. And the Prime Minister said to meet up with Mr. Narendra Mishra, who's the Principal Secretary, who's the head of the Prime Minister's office, which basically, in short, control this country. So he and his team, we gave his presentation. I had my Malaysian partners. And the Prime Minister, that 10-minute meeting went on for half an hour. We were there for 1.5 hours between the Principal Secretary and Prime Minister. And he's kicked and he's excited. I don't care whether you like our Prime Minister or not. I don't care whether you have voted for the BJP or not. My point is, it's our country, he's our Prime Minister. We got to step up and we got to do something. If you guys are willing and you're in agreement, we've got a job for you. The Prime Minister has launched these websites. You must have seen that, MyGov, do, discuss. You may give ideas, but do you really have access to him? At the most, I've heard these organizations which says, okay, submit a little paper, do this, and 20 guys will be taken and, we do a photo op with the Prime Minister, you take a photo and you go back home. That's not what I'm offering. We have proposed to the Prime Minister the Nation Management Office, and he's thrilled and excited about it. And I think, I'm very hopeful that within the next 2-3 months something would happen. The Economic Times called me and they want to do an article on it. So I was just talking to them. They've already covered one article that this is one of the best models that is out there in the world. So the point is, that you guys are going to get access to this. You will work with us, because through this model we can work in any and every sector. I'm not talking of one sector. You're interested in whichever field that you want to pursue, this is going to give you this opportunity. And I'm not talking of something which is some crazy ideas where, okay, you just raise your hands, blurt out whatever the hell that comes to your mind, and we say, wow, wow, very nice. No. You will be taught how to make these ideas into a reality, you will see it functioning in your government, on the ground, and you will see these results. And we do it in a short span of time. You will see that. The point is, whether you are studying in college or you start going in to your professional life, you can continue this. So it will be sustainable. It's not something which will happen for 2 years and then you don't know what to do with it. It's your choice. It'll be done in a way where we know you have your studies. We know you have assignments. All this, considering all your time factors and everything, despite that, we'll be able to deliver. So it's keeping in mind all this, we have planned something for you. But this has to spread. It has to go all over. You guys, in reality, voted the most stable government that India has seen. You now need to ensure that this government, whichever government that comes in, as long as it's a stable government, actually is able to implement its plans, its dreams, its vision. And we can do this collectively. Trust me, guys, opportunities are always knocking. They say opportunity is knocking once. Not true. I've met global leaders. I've seen the access. You can access these guys anytime, provided your idea is great, it's good. People are willing to listen. It's not that the people are not interested. It's lonely at the top. You want to mix with the people around you. How do you reach them? Through YIN. I've spoken to all these people that you're seeing on the screen. They're not just photographs just to be put over there. Fully aware of what this organization is all about. If you want to make a difference, you want to make a change. You heard this statement from Mahatma Gandhi, that you wish to be the change. How? Through YIN. If you wake up and if you wish, if you really wish, if you dream that this is going to be a reality, trust me, you can and you will. And I need your support for our country's sake. And it's not me, it's all of us together. So guys, if you like this idea, I'm going to hear with the claps that you're going to give me. Thank you.